What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the I Know Ball Network, to where today we will be giving out our mid-season awards in the NFL. Who deserves the MVP? Who deserves Coach of the Year? Who's the best rookie offensively and defensively? We're going to get into it. And you got myself, Derrick, Dontea in the middle, and Jordan all the way to the right of your video.
Where's
and
Matt?
Who?
He's below us.
Who has that guy been in a video recently, like often, or? Oh, no,
Ouch.
that's okay. Oh, we'll move on. So we'll move first to Coach of the Year, and this award is from the I Know Ball Network, so we all have to agree on this one person to get this award.
Yeah, so it's Mike Tomlin, right?
So I will say,
Just kidding. He's third for me.
Okay.
I do have a guy that I think absolutely should get it. No questions asked. Dan Quinn for the Washington Commanders.
Okay. Dontea, who do you have?
I had Dan as well. Campbell, though. Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions. That's who I have first for Coach of the Year.
Okay.
Dan Quinn's a good one, but he didn't even make second for me. I got Dan Campbell here.
So I will be real for you. Number one, I had Dan Quinn. We'll do a snake. We'll do snake. Number two, I had Kevin O'Connell.
Hey, me too.
Me too. Kevin O'Connell. I like what he's doing over there.
Jordan, hit us
Kevin O'Connell
hit us with your third then, since we're
Number
gonna snake
three,
it.
I got Mike T.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I got Dan Quinn.
Number three, I got Dan Campbell. So
I think it averages out to where Dan Quinn's 1, Kevin O'Connell's 2, and Dan Campbell's 3 for us.
Yeah.
that might be
that's
it.
your averages.
So we think
I think
Dan Quinn will be Coach of the Year come mid-season award. He gets Coach of the Year. Rookie
Dan
QB.
Quinn, congratulations, you are Barbershop Break Room's mid-season Coach of the Year.
Barbershop Break Rooms.
Here's your trophy.
I Know Ball Network's mid-season Coach of the Year.
Jordan's not fully adjusted. We had a little rebrand mid-season, so that's why everything's a little off. Sorry, it's a little thrown off. But yeah, shout out Dan Quinn. No one expected the Commanders to be good this year, especially the way that they are.
Nobody.
At all. So I mean, same thing with Kevin O'Connell. Not even with JJ even being hurt, having a rookie in there, not a lot expected from the Vikings in general. You have Sam Darnold come out and you're balling out with him. And then, like we said, Dan Campbell has all the weapons around him. They're just winning like he should. So that one kind of puts him down a little bit there for me because it's expected in a way.
I guess.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah,
it'd be like the same. Go on.
They're just winning impressively when they win. Offensively and defensively. They lost their defensive anchor, and they're still playing very well on defense. And just to show you how well equipped this team is, their starting quarterback threw 85 yards in one game. They put up 56 or no, not 56 points. I'm sorry. They put up a lot of points.
56 would have been crazy. Yeah.
No, what did they put up versus
a lot?
Was it the Titans?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but they did put up a lot. And then you can go on with your point at Goff throwing up a bunch of picks.
And then Jared Goff threw 4 interceptions, and they still won. So it's like the team is well put together. So he does have a good team. I'm not taking that away from him, but he's doing his thing.
So we good to move on to Defensive Rookie of the Year then?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll be honest. I did a little bit of research. There is some other players that I did come to mind for me, but I only put one here, and that was Jared Verse.
They put up 52 points, by the way, not 56.
Okay,
Sorry,
you're close. That was a lot.
Yeah.
I do. I have a guy that looks a little more like you, Derrick.
Nah.
Cooper DeJean.
This cat crazy.
No, I'm kidding. I had Jared Verse number 1 as well.
I've watched the Rams the last 3 weeks. They had primetime games, obviously, versus the Dolphins and then versus the Vikings. you can't go a game without hearing his name repeatedly. Like the dude's making an impact as if he's like a veteran. Like it's crazy.
23 solo tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That's a very solid stat line for a rookie.
And I know people don't love pressures, but like just being in the backfield, forcing the quarterback out of the pocket, like he was affecting Tua yesterday. I think Jared Verse is the only answer here. I don't even think we need to come up with a second. I think he's a runaway.
I'm cool with Jared Verse. Shout out to you.
For the sake of argument, I did have Quinyon Mitchell as my number 2.
He has been balling. He has been.
But from what I've seen, there's a guy named Latu for the Colts, who's number 2 in odds for Defensive Player of the Year. Currently, Jared Verse is -500, and Latu is +1,000 at number 2.
Yeah, that's a big difference. It's a little big. It's a little difference. So we'll move on. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think we should spend a lot of time on this one.
Bo Nix.
Since Jordan already went first. I went first the last time. Dontea, who do you think should be Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I want to just shout out a fallen soldier, since yesterday was Veterans Day, and I want to shout out Matt, since he's a fallen soldier of the I Know Ball Network. He did project this. He called Jaden Daniels. Who's that? I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Oh
I'm joking. Yeah, Matt called this though. He literally said that Jaden Daniels would be Rookie of the Year, and he's right. He is as advertised. So yeah, Jaden Daniels.
I agree with Dontea. I have Jaden Daniels. If we wanted to run down the 2 and 3, I have Bo Nix and then Marv Harrison. So
I wouldn't mind Big Joe Alt. He'll never get it. He's an offensive lineman. I don't think he even qualifies. But Joe Alt was the steal in the draft. Dude is any team would want him as their left tackle. And dude's a rookie.
You want to know something crazy?
Like he played against TJ Watt.
Did you just say he was the steal of the draft?
Joe Alt?
You can get drafted high and still be a steal. Like
he was the 5th overall pick. I don't think that can be a steal.
You know how many people wanted them to get Marv or wanted them to get another wide receiver, and they went and took a lineman?
I think that's just being smart, and that's why they get paid the big bucks to do what they do.
Well, there's a lot of other teams that wouldn't have done that, and there's a lot of other teams that didn't do that in the past. So, to give Jim Harbaugh some credit,
shout out to your drafting and scouting team.
Yeah, I mean, because every mock draft really didn't have Joe Alt going to the Chargers. Joe Alt fell
Tennessee.
They had him falling down a little bit, and they took him. Yours did, and they had him taken a little later, and he went higher than as expected. So
yeah, I had Tennessee taking him,
and I know Joe Alt was a top 5 pick, but yes, steal of the draft in my opinion. Yeah, but Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I agree. Stats, all right. Not very impressive stat-wise, but we'll move on.
It's a team rolling.
We'll move on to Defensive Player of the Year. And I guess realistically, this is back to Jordan giving his first pick. And Jordan, I'll let you take me away. No? You guys ain't feeling that one?
This guy about to start riding.
No, I just have TJ Watt.
Why?
He's the best defensive player on the planet, brother.
Hey, speaking of Joe Alt, how many sacks did TJ Watt have versus the Chargers?
I think 0. Pretty sure 99.9%. 0.
How many did Myles Garrett have versus the Chargers?
Joe Alt's pretty good.
3.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because you know who else is pretty good?
Different side.
You know who else is pretty good?
Not every time.
Myles Garrett.
Not every time, by the way.
Myles Garrett plays the other side of the D-line, brother.
Nope. There's 2 sacks that he had on Joe Alt.
He moved.
Right past him.
He moved, yeah.
He moved.
Well, Myles Garrett didn't put him on his ass and make him go out of the game.
But how many sacks did he record? What's that? A pressure? You guys say those don't matter, right? What's that? Just
Yeah, I mean,
pressure?
do we need to pull up the Myles Garrett versus TJ Watt like stat counter again for
No,
this
no,
game?
no, 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 no. Hey. I'm here. Don't go over here. Meet me right
Oh,
here.
you're there. Yes. Okay.
Meet me
So
here.
in one singular game against one singular
I'm just
player who
asking a
might have
question.
played slightly worse in one singular game, Myles
I'm
Garrett
just asking a
may have
question.
outperformed against one player.
I'm only talking. Listen, you
Hey,
said
who?
Joel's pretty good, and I just said, hey, you know who else is pretty good? A guy that finished that game with 4 sacks.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's cool. I'm not saying
The
Myles
defensive
Garrett's
player of
bad.
the year didn't have 4 sacks versus a guy that's pretty good.
I'm not saying Myles Garrett's bad, but if you look at the odds for defensive player of the year, I don't believe he's in the top 10.
It's okay. Who won defensive player of the year last year? Who's the reigning defensive player? Since a new one hasn't been
Yeah,
crowned.
that would be Myles Garrett, and it was a
Who's,
weird like publicity stunt thing for the Browns that they're not going to do that this year because
whatever you got to say.
they don't have
Hey, whatever you got to do to sleep at
anything to
night.
try and promote the Browns this year.
Whatever you got to do to sleep at night. I hope you do
I
too.
will. I was a big advocate of saying that the NFL gets absolutely nothing in promoting the Cleveland Browns. So nothing supports them any way, shape, or form. Financially, nothing in supporting the Browns or giving them awards. So
Say it again for the hater in the back.
all those awards were earned. I will say the Browns, if they want to push teams, they would push, Dallas, Pittsburgh, and other big fan base teams. And why I don't need balloons. Is that for fuck?
Yeah,
But
I like balloons.
he had TJ1. Who do you got, Dante?
So let me do a Pittsburgh Steeler logic real quick, and
Or should I
typically they just like to go with the guy who has the most sacks.
Guys, I miss Matt. I miss Matt.
I'm gonna go with Trey Hendrickson. He has 11 sacks as opposed to the guy who's the favorite that only has 6.5 sacks. So yeah, give me the guy that has 11.
I miss Matt.
Trey Hendrickson. He's first for me.
So yeah, number
11, 6, and 8.
So who I got number 1, this guy leads the NFL currently in sacks with 11, and leads the league in quarterback hits with 22, 5 more than anybody else. What are you gonna go? What are you saying?
So there's one stat that Trey Hendrickson leads TJ Watt in, and it's sacks. He also has played one extra game. I don't think TJ's gonna get 4.5 sacks. He has 6.5 now.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get almost more than half of what he has on the season in one. Sure.
But in one last game, he has more tackles, more forced fumbles, and more fumble recoveries than Trey Hendrickson.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like the sacks, so 11.
I will finish with what I was saying. First in sacks, first in quarterback hits, 22, 5 more than anybody else. He's tied for number 1 with 11 tackles for a loss and ranks second in pass. You take this for granted because this is the statistics, but ranks second in pass rush win rate behind Hutchinson, which is hurt. Hendrickson, 29.9% rate, 4 points ahead of third place Myles Garrett, 25.8%.
Hey, fun fact, you know Aiden Hutchinson still has more sacks than TJ Watt, and he's only played 5 games.
Damn.
Oh, I mean, if Aiden Hutchinson was still healthy and still had both legs, I would have put him as defensive player of the year.
He has both legs.
I think. I guess he's still at.
Both legs intact. I should have added the intact part. But I would have had. I think Aiden Hutchinson, up until he broke his leg, was on an absolute tear this season, and he was
on DPOY trajectory for sure. So
yeah.
Who do we have 2?
So
I have 2, or everybody have 2, because I have Trey Hendrickson too.
I had TJ Watt too.
We had Dexter Lawrence too.
I had Dexter 3.
I had Dex 3.
Yeah, 2.
So, I mean,
Who did you have 3?
He doesn't get it.
TJ's 3.
I will say another shortcoming for one TJ Watt winning Defensive Player of the Year. But this is only the mid-season award as Jordan rolls his eyes. Shout out Trey Hendrickson. I'm No Ball Network Defensive Mid-Season Player of the Year. TJ Watt, better luck next year, brother. Better luck next year.
Better luck in the second half.
Or the second half. You might get it in the second half, but who knows? Also, I'm a big proponent of I don't think defensive player of the year should matter what your record is as a team.
I agree with that.
agree.
Okay.
I don't think any award should be determined except for maybe coach of the year. But
Yeah,
any
because
award
like some of
outside of
like
him-
in like this is no shade to TJ, but like Miles Garrett, for example, there's been times where the team, like I'm sure TJ Watt probably was a sack leader, and you guys probably won 9 games. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure like that year with Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph, TJ probably had 18 sacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like Miles' best year, like one of his best years, we weren't even good. Like it just
Yeah,
so
I think
agree
for
with
I
that.
think for any award, it shouldn't really. I mean, offensive rookie of the year, obviously you have to make an impact. Defensive rookie of the year,
MVP should. MVP
no,
should.
no.
How can you be the most valuable player if y'all losing? If I pluck you, if you guys suck with you, if I pluck you off, y'all just go suck a little more. That's the only reason why I think that.
I mean, I
I
don't
think it
think
should be an impact. I mean, it's hard. There's definitely times where a quarterback who should be the MVP has a horrible defense who lets them down over and over and over again, and that's the reason they have a bad record.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, there's nuance to it, but MVP, I think your team has to be good.
we'll move on. We'll get to it after we make our selection on this one. Offensive player of the year. And I only wrote one name down because I really only think there should only be one player
I got two. We got two.
that should win
I
this
did
one.
write 3.
I
I think one of these guys has a potential to win this and MVP,
okay.
but
I did say for this guy, offensive player of the year, steal in fantasy drafts if you drafted him. Derrick Henry, I think, is the offensive player of the year.
yep, I was gonna say the guy that I have here plays against my favorite team on Sunday.
I just want to go ahead and take a moment to agree with you guys, and I want to say, when you're doing fantasy, don't listen to your friends about who to draft and who not to draft, especially if they're in your league. Because I have a buddy of mine that claims to be a fantasy guru, and I remember me and him were on Xbox talking about our fantasy draft, and he was like, "Derrick Henry's old ass, you can't hold a gun to my head to draft him this year."
Sounds like
And
someone
I'm
I know.
like, Dylan, the read option with him and Lamar are gonna be amazing. And he said, "You can't put a gun to my head to draft him." Well, Dylan, they should
Number
have put a
one.
gun. Never mind.
Number one in fantasy.
He also
For
said
running
that about
backs.
Kyron Williams. He also said that about Kyron. But
I'll be realistic. I didn't think Derrick Henry had this in him. The main reason why I drafted him in one of my leagues is I thought he was going to be used in the red zone a lot, kind of like Gus Edwards did. So I was like, I think that's a steal in itself. And then what he's doing now is just sugar on top, cherry on the top.
yeah, breaking
So
it.
Derrick Henry
Sugar
is
and cherry.
unanimous. Derrick Henry is the unanimous I Know Ball Network Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, who do you have
after
second, though? I
this
want to
season.
know.
I have Saquon,
Okay, me too.
and then third I have Lamar Jackson.
I didn't even go to third, but I like that.
See, it didn't matter because I had Chris Hogan and Danny Amendola. So we'll move on to MVP.
It's two.
MVP. Dante, who you got first? I wrote 3 for this one.
So, I don't know if the NFL is like the NBA, but there's voters fatigue when it comes to certain players.
We don't got that, though.
Michael Jordan probably could have had 10 MVPs. LeBron should have 10 MVPs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this guy will get it, but I think Lamar Jackson is the MVP again. I do. I don't think there's a quarterback playing better football than him right now.
Jordan,
That's just me.
I agree. If the season ended today, yes, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. I guess that's how we're basing it.
That's how we're basing it.
Yeah. So if the season ended today, yes, Lamar Jackson, I believe, is the MVP. My only, I guess, thing I have to say about that is Josh Allen's right on his ass. I think it's close.
Yeah.
And if you want me to be honest, outside of him getting hurt for a game, I think Jaden Daniels has a real chance in the last half of the season to make an argument to be MVP and Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I had Lamar first as well. What were you gonna say, Dante?
I was just gonna say, like, will they ever do that though?
I don't think so. Has anybody ever won it before?
I will say,
Let's
I
just
mean,
go to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Dan Marino and John Elway.
and Terry Bradshaw probably. Back in that day, it didn't
Okay.
fucking matter who won. They were just
Okay.
giving it to anybody. Anyways, I will say I don't think Daniel should be in the top 3. I mean, it's
He wouldn't be in my top 3, to be honest.
he's not. I think you can plug and play a lot of quarterbacks into that position. Dude's got only 9 passing touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns on the whole year. That's
They got
basically
guys
just
like Baker
one.
that's
That's
like
like
nipping on
one
the heels of
touchdown a
like
game.
30.
Yeah, Baker has 24 touchdowns. Lamar has 24 passing touchdowns as well.
What's Joe Burrow at? Probably 23.
Joe Burrow has a lot. I know Josh Allen has 17. I know we talked about this. Burrow 24 as well. 24 and 4, like way better stats than that. And I know, they're winning. It's nice that he's a rookie. I don't think he deserves top 3 honors when it comes to MVP voting, in my opinion.
I do have one trivia question for you guys because I found the answer. One player ever has won MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season.
Is he white?
And the hint is no, he's not, and he's a running back.
Oh dang! I was gonna say Cam Newton.
I was gonna say that. Oh,
Jim Brown is the only player to ever win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season.
you get that in prison?
Nah, that's Chiz posted on Facebook and said his Uncle Leroy's Kitchen, right?
Uncle Leroy's Kitchen?
Hope Sweeney did this.
Is that paprika on your arm? What kind of spice is that? You cook?
Is that a recipe in the script?
Yes.
Anyway, Derek, we are forgetting one category here.
Are we? Did I fucked up? What are we
We did
forgetting?
forget one.
I didn't do one. Sorry, hit me.
Comeback Player of the Year.
I love comebacks.
Pretty big comeback guy.
Go on. I regained myself. Go on.
Yeah, it's Comeback Player of the Year. Who do you have? Midseason award? I don't know what you want me to keep saying.
You
At the
go.
same
Who do
time,
you
no
go?
problem.
Who do you go?
Kirk
Saquon?
Cousins.
Oh, I had Saquon. In my head, that's the first person that popped in my mind. Saquon.
Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm just playing. Look at Jordan's face. He's like,
Is there an award?
I didn't
for,
mean to say that.
Is there an award for coming back and being worse than what you were before you got hurt and never really bouncing back?
Yeah,
Give that one to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is not comeback player of the year. It's Kirk Cousins for sure.
Poor guy. Did you do comeback player of the year at all, Dante? Because I didn't. I fucked that up. I fucked that up.
I forgot.
And Jordan could have texted us that we forgot one.
I remembered while
just
we were
looked
doing
it
it
up.
literally
Oh.
live.
Okay. I was like, did Jordan just let us go all the way and be like, ah, motherfuckers?
He's a
Are you
PLA.
looking at the odds right now? Is Kirk Cousins favorited?
Gotta be.
I can. Really
Gotta
quick.
be.
Because the first person popped in my mind was one Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, okay. Oh my God, DeMar Hamlin's top 5 in the odds.
Wait, what?
He's back.
He played already. What?
So, AP NFL Comeback Player of the Year. This is on FanDuel's website. Kirk Cousins is minus 125. Joe Burrow plus 220. Kyler
Ooh.
Murray plus 900. J.K. Dobbins plus 1,000. And DeMar Hamlin plus 2,200.
Am I tripping? Did Saquon? What? I thought he was in a running for comeback player of the year for some reason.
He played last year, bro. They just didn't want him back.
He
I'm
didn't
gonna
make.
be honest.
I thought he was hurt.
Mike Williams and Justin Fields are both on this list, really far down for plus 20,000. But there is no Saquon Barkley.
Ain't nothing to come back from. He played.
Yeah, he
I
played.
know.
What year? What? It was 2021 coming back that year. He could have won comeback player of the year. It was that long ago.
From
I
his
f-
torn
I f-
ACL, probably, yeah.
I felt like 2 years, well, less than a year ago, he was gonna be nominated for one, maybe.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the We Don't Know Ball Network.
Asterisk, we know it.
We know now.
We now know.
Thank you. Like, subscribe, and hey, watch the ads. Don't skip them. Go get a drink when the ads come on, okay?
Go eat some raw cookie dough and get salmonella.
I just did, actually.
That's so specific.